We're standing on a 40-acre parcel. It's old farmland left fallow for a decade or more. Nothing much grows here anymore. Pretty soon, it will become another Arizona housing development. One man walks this field alone, watching and waiting. Occasionally, he stops to look at something his trained eye sees that has potential. But potential for what? Well, this man knows that the hard ground hides a habitat rich in diversity, with the perfect disguise above. Look closer, and you see wooden stakes marking these holes in the ground. They might be rabbit dens, but many provide shelter to a unique species of owl that lives underground, the burrowing owl. The burrowing owl is small as owls go, with a round head and no ear tufts, and yellow eyes with white eyebrows. The owl is sandy-colored on the head, back, and upper parts of the wings, and white to cream, with barring on the breast and belly, and a prominent white chin stripe. They commonly perch on fence posts or on top of mounds in open fields. They are small, only about a foot tall. But the most interesting thing about them is they live underground. The burrowing owls help to control the rodent population in these open fields, and they feed on many insects as well. The burrows they live in provide good shelter and a cool home in the summer. Our man continues his walk looking for burrows. Ironically, these burrows, so effective at providing shelter for these owls, can also become a tomb in places like this, where development is on the way.
The burrowing owls are at great risk because of their unique habitat, because they live underground. As a result of that, especially this time of year, which is nesting season, the females and young spend most of their day underground. So if bulldozers come, they don't fly off, they go deep underground and they stay there. They get covered, they get buried alive.
Bob Fox has made it his personal mission to rescue as many burrowing owls as possible before the earth movers arrive. He's good at it too. So much so that movers and shakers in the home building community contract for his services. They don't want to see the owls hurt either.
Well, I think that's a good thing for the community as a whole, and since we are part of the community, we build the community. Part of the draw of this area is our natural environment, and so anything we can do to supplement that and make it a little bit better, we like doing that, yes.
This afternoon, Bob is trapping. He has a couple of techniques. One is a small trap inserted into the burrow opening. When the owl tries to come outside, they enter the trap and the door springs shut. Bob stays on site when the traps are out and checks them every couple of hours to make sure that an owl is not stuck inside for very long.
Well, we happen to have a bird in here. Now let's remove the blocks. You can see right there we've got, let's go on this side, take a look at them. Back up. What I'll do, reach in carefully. Don't get out. There he is. This looks like a female who's got young, probably 4 to 5 weeks old at this point. And so what we'll do is we're going to pop this trap back in here so that if there's anybody else inside, they'll also come out into that.
Another technique involves a spring-loaded hoop trap. Bob places a few mice in a cage near the trap and waits for some action. This owl showed up right away, but he was wary. He never did trip the trap's mechanism. Bob is careful with all wildlife and keeps the mice watered down and unharmed.
Or, you know, we have 130.
The trapped owls are weighed and measured.
We'll say 132 grams. So that tells us it's a female, weight-wise. 34, so that length is, and under 35 is generally going to be a female. So all indications are that we have a little female here.
Then carefully placed in a cardboard box and stored in Bob's truck for transportation.
Set her in there, close her up, and we'll put her back in the truck. We've got the air conditioning on, and make sure she stays nice and cool.
This is where the second part of Bob's plan comes into play. You see, these birds can't just be released anywhere. It's important they have another burrow to call home and enough prey to survive. In the meantime, Bob takes the owls back to his place, a custom-built Burrowing Owl Aviary, where the birds are cared for until they can be re-released. Bob has put a lot of his own time and money into this project and is passionate about saving these small creatures.
Anybody who's spent any time at all in the valley just sees the incredible amount of development that's going on, especially in the southeast valley, on the southwest valley where the old agricultural fields, all the canals, is great habitat for the burrowing owls. So as that's being developed and turned into housing, the burrowing owls are losing their habitat. So we don't want to see these birds hit the threatened and endangered list as their numbers continue to drop. So we had to do something to keep the population stable and do something for the birds themselves. And this project seems to be filling that bill quite a bit.
The aviaries here are in top condition and cleaned regularly. Walking inside, we get a close-up view of these amazing creatures and hear their vocalizations. Burrowing owls can make a variety of noises depending on the situation. One sound will definitely get your attention.
But their most interesting vocalization, of course, is their mimic of a rattlesnake. And it's one that is absolutely accurate. Now, this is a pair of adults that have come in, and their young are in this little nest box down here. Now, you can hear the rattling noise. That's their distress call, that's their warning call. They're saying, leave me alone, we're scary, scary snakes. I have the pleasure of sticking my hand down their burrows and occasionally hear that rattle, and it's, okay, which one is it? And I have been fooled on occasion. So generally now I do put a stick down there first to see if I hear the rattle.
Okay, now that's a good idea. Once the owls are placed in their temporary digs, it's time to go house shopping. Not one to settle for any old tract home, the burrowing owl gets a custom-made, top-of-the-line model.
What we're trying to do is come up with something that's very rugged, that will last a long time once it's buried in the ground, be very low cost, and be very easy for volunteers to install.
Some of the volunteers lending a hand at this site are students from a local elementary school.
Over the last 3 years, we've actually had senior citizens, high school students, children from 5 and up have participated in a wide variety of sites to help put these burrows in. And that's part of the reason why we've created this construction technique. We want to make it real easy, real cheap, and real fun for everybody to participate.
And of course, no project this size could be possible without the assistance of corporate sponsors stepping up to the plate.
Some of our personnel are digging the holes where these new habitats for the burrowing owl will actually be placed. We were asked by the Southern Arizona Home Builders Association to help participate in this program. And of course we were delighted to. It gives us an opportunity rather to continue our participation in what we consider to be caring for the environment, which we do on a daily basis. And it also gave us an opportunity to be a good corporate citizen. I think it's really an exciting opportunity for all these diverse groups to come together and do something good.
Once the holes are dug and the custom homes covered, an awning of sorts is placed over the nests. This awning is actually a temporary fixture that protects the birds while they get used to their new surroundings. Once the birds acclimate to their new homes, the canopy is removed and the birds are free to once again roam wild.
The burrowing owl is just one of the most adorable animals you could ever be around. And the more I worked with the burrowing owl, the more enthralled I became with what an enjoyable social species it is, how important it could be for educational projects for kids, how important it could be for community areas where the public could go out and see the burrowing owls up close. And I just think that this project has a lot of things going for it for the community as well as for the owl.